welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real metaphysical and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week is going to be a really fun video for me. We are going to talk about an actual technique for magic that was mentioned to me in our live streams, and it really intrigued me, and I wanted to test it out for myself. So let's get into it, okay? So, in our live streams, a regular and a real dear to the community has been Angela Blanc. If I'm mispronouncing that a little wrong, I apologize. We were talking about ways of grounding and getting rid of energy and what we could do with that energy and potentially charging items as well. And she brought up the fact that one of her favorite ways to ground excess energy is to take that energy and to push it into a candle. Whether it be stress, whether it be fear, whether it be frustration, whether it be anxiety, any of this. Anytime she's got that built up energy, she'll grab that candle and just push that energy into that candle and then later use it for spell work. Now, interesting thing here is that actually sounds like a really great idea to offload a lot of excess energy, and that really got my attention. So I wanted to try it out, and I even told her, I was like, I might actually want to do a video on it. So I got her approval to do this video. Now, over the last few weeks, since then, I have been testing it, and I actually got a few of my colleagues to test it as well. I've been using tea light candles, which you can go to Walmart, Target, any place like that, or even Amazon, and you can buy a bunch of tea light candles for spell work, which I love tea light candles. For more than just spell work, they're great around the house for many reasons, including as minor temporary emergency candles or lighting. But that's another topic. So, however, a few of my friends, and by the way, we do have some jets flying over. It's not too bad. I can barely hear them, but I don't know if the microphone will pick it up. It doesn't seem to be saying it is. If they are, I apologize. But a few of my friends wanted to do different candles. One of my old mentors, Raven, she was actually intrigued with this concept as well, and she chose to use chime candles. Another friend of mine, Katrina, wanted to use jar candles and 7-day candles, those kinds of things. Another friend of mine was wanting to use just general pillar candles. But a few of them even tested out some crystals. So during the testing, most of us charged more than one candle. And we did find that this was a fantastic magical trick to offload excess energy into a candle. And you were able to store that up and be able to utilize it later for spell work. Now, one question that pops up on something like this from a lot of people throughout different communities, and ironically, when I was doing a little research to see if anyone else had been tinkering around with this, a lot of people's worried about that energy. They're like, you're putting your anxiety and your fear into it. That's going to affect your spell working. That's going to affect you poorly if you do a spell with it. The spell's not going to work. All right. Well, we put that to the test. Now, anytime you do spell work with a candle, or anything for that matter, you have to direct that energy toward your intent, and essentially you are taking any energy that's ambiently around, and you're going to be charging it into that candle, and you're going to be programming it. One thing a lot of modern practitioners seem to have forgotten somewhere is energy is energy. It doesn't matter how you raise the energy, it is still energy, and it can be programmed and directed in the direction you want it to go. Now, true, if I charge this candle full of anxiety and I just light that sumbitch, I'm releasing anxiety energy into the air. Well, why would I do that? That's silly. You could light that candle with the intent of cleansing anxiety. You could actually take that anxiety energy and light that candle very easily to help cleanse and burn away anxiety in the room. That could easily be done. But But there is absolutely nothing that takes that excess energy that was generated by your anxiety. Remember, anxiety is an emotion. It is not the energy itself. The emotion generates the energy. Okie dokie. So we can take that energy, we can put it in. It's essentially undirected, other than it has that slight anxiety vibration. So when you sit down with your candle, when you get your candle in your hand, I ain't got a candle here right now, but I do have my canteen. When I take my candle in my hand and I'm focused on what I'm wanting, let's say prosperity, and I'm focusing on exactly what it is I need, what I'm focusing on building, what I'm wanting to focus on manifestation, the energy in that candle remains. I'm only changing and giving it a focus. The same contents is there. I'm just giving it a focus. I'm giving it a direction. And since energy is energy, it's neither good, it's neither bad, it's just energy. I am now applying a focus to it. And when I release this spell, there is a massive amount of energy in this candle. Now, you might ask, well, Drake, when we do candle magic or any other magic, we charge the object during the ritual. So why would we do this? And that's understandable. Yes, you can absolutely charge an object when you're doing spell work. Whether it be candle magic or sigil magic, you're going to be charging the item when you do that. That is true. However, what I think one of the biggest benefits to this is, or two biggest benefits, is first off, you get to offload a crap ton of energy that ain't doing you no good. Most of us ground, well, all practitioners ground, or should be grounding quite often. That excess energy can wreck our lives. So we have to offload it anyway. Many of us just offload it, ground it out, and honestly, we're wasting a resource when you really think about it in that manner. By doing this, you're placing it into a container to save and utilize later. Now, that for one is already a big de-stressor and helper, and it's actually utilizing your resources a little better. Also, having a pre-charged item, if you've ever thought about it, when we are sick, when we are ill, when we're under the weather or something, the first part of the spell, that raising the energy, that focusing on the energy, that channeling the energy, that is one of the most taxing parts of a spell. And if you're under the weather, if you're sick, you got the flu or some crap or some crud, that can be the hardest part to get done, and that sucks because, we want to use our magic to make ourselves better. Well, looky here in my cabinet, I got this candle. It's supercharged with this energy already. All I have to do now is focus on it and direct it toward my healing. And when you're sick, your focus on getting better ratchets it up real quick. That's not something too hard to focus on when you're sick. So it's very easy to program that energy toward a healing spell and then be able to release it as healing because it was pre-charged. You have a stockpile of that energy, which is pretty handy in my mind. Now, we did notice toward about 2 weeks or so, we started to notice that the energy started to bleed out and diminish. So more testing would be needed to determine how long these candles might store energy. But that said, if you have, let's say, 7 candles and you're using one each day for your grounding or to dump energy in, or you even keep one in your purse every day at work because you just have a stressful job, you could easily pre-charge these for your practice, especially if you do a lot of candle magic. And I do think it's a great way to do it. And since you are getting that pre-charge, it does help out a lot when you need those much later. And even if you wanted to go ahead and do your normal charging during the spell, you're adding more fuel to the spell. And as we've said in the past, the more energy we can direct toward it, the better. So this concept of pre-charging a candle using emotions or stress or anxiety or just excess energy in general when we ground and grounding into a candle, I've actually found this to be very, very useful in a lot of ways. And it's actually improved a lot of stress factors of many of my friends. There's a lot of stress and stuff they hang on to because of work that, honestly, this technique alone, just pre-charging a candle in this way, has really helped with their just day-to-day stress levels and helped them be so much more chill. Katrina definitely needed the chill factor, not going to lie. Love you, girl, but still. And that has been amazing. Now, one downside to this technique that I could see being a potential problem, and unfortunately I was unable to find someone to test this for me, but when you work with the previous data of other experiments, it is easy to see that this might be a potential issue. If you are a practitioner who has a hard time understanding energy is energy and shaping energy to suit your needs, and instead you require specific energies for your spell work, so you only do spells with very specific energies in order to receive a specific outcome instead of shaping the energy to your needs, then you're going to run into a problem here, I suspect, because you're pre-charging it with energies that I really don't know why you would need anxiety energy, except if you were to do a spell charging it with anxiety energy to attune it to that energy, so that, like I said, you did a candle that would create a anxiety-free atmosphere in your room. That would very much do it. And scented candles are great for that. You just light those suckers right up and whoo! So that would be a little more limiting, and you'd need to put a little more thought into exactly what you're going to use it for if you're going to do this at all. And neither's right or wrong. Let me specify, neither is right or wrong. There are two different mindsets in practitioners and magicians. And like I've said before, if you're getting results and your practice is working, do it to it. Myself, I've never been one to really rely on specific energy patterns. It was very easy for me to grasp the concept that energy is energy. And as a magician, I can shape the energy and direct it. Regardless of what the energy is coming from, I can shape it and direct it. Now, it is true, the closer to my goal, the easier it is to shape, but there is no energy that I can't shape and direct toward any goal I so choose. That was a very easy concept for me. There's a lot of people, whether the concept's just harder to grasp or it's more of a religious or spiritual concept of their tradition that they don't shape it, and that's fine, but they choose to work with very specific patterns for specific reasons. In those situations, this may not be the best direction to go, because it is a major energy dump that is, you are storing the energy. Like I said, there are ways you could utilize it, I'm sure. Like I said, the anxiety reducing candle, you could easily dump your anxiety into it to attune it and then charge it with the intent to lower anxiety in the overall room. You could do the same thing for stress as well. So you could still do this, it just becomes a little less versatile potentially, depending on what excess energies you're dumping. I mean, we all have different excess energies due to different lives. I know some people just have excess energy. They're just bouncing off walls. If I could find a way to bottle it, I'd be rich. I'd solve any energy crisis in the globe. But those people, we can't bottle their energy like that, unfortunately. So I really would recommend any practitioner giving this a try. Maybe you've already done something like this. This is something, I've done it with crystals. I've stored energy in crystals for later. And I do find they hold energy well. But there's something about the ability to be able to dump it into a candle and be able to utilize it quickly. One thing I will say that the individual who tested jar candles did, they actually shaped their candle for an intent. I don't know if I'm allowed to share the intent, but they kept dumping their stress and anxiety into the candle throughout the week, even though they have already preset the intent in the candle. So what they were essentially doing was they were doing a daily working where they'd burn the candle for about 20 minutes. And they kept further energizing the candle. So if you go back and look at our easy prosperity spell, where we use the candle for a long-term prosperity spell, and we're continually charging it, and the candle's working as a talisman to draw to, as well as releasing energy to manifest. It was a similar concept, but she's also using it as a grounding instrument now, and it's continually getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And she saw some amazing results with that. And I'll be honest with you, that's one of the things I'm wanting to go and look into further. I'm wanting to see when it comes to larger candles and jar candles that can be relit and used for a long period of time, whether it be weeks or months, utilizing this process of grounding out energy from rituals or meditations or energy work to continually fuel a long-term working that I'm working on. We're really just now starting to scratch the surface of what Angela has presented. And I don't even know if she's considered some of these things. Angela, I hope you consider some of these. And if you have already, by all means, let us know what you've played around with. But I may either revisit this concept in a few months after I've done some more of these long-term testings. But I may talk about them more in the live streams that we do every Sunday. But I definitely wanted to share this technique with everybody so you could begin your testing too. So often on this channel we talk about this is stuff that I've long-term testing, long-term done. I've gotten results, results, results. I love when my audience members present me with something that I've not necessarily considered before, and I really want to give it a shot and test it. And I do want to give it a slight run through before I do a video on it. But I got to say, over the last few weeks, we've got such great results. I just had to share this technique with you all so potentially you could use it. Now, Angela didn't say she had a particular name for it. She pitched out the concept of palm charging or empathetic candle charging. Both would work. Either way, call it what we want, but this is amazing. For me, this is the Angela candle charging method, because anytime I'm going to do this, I'm definitely going to remember her, who was the inspiration for it. So I definitely encourage everyone to give this a try. If you got any questions, drop them below too, and give me your results. Let us know your results. Maybe we can work as a community here to actually fine-tune some of this research a bit, get some of y'all involved in a bit more hands-on with some of the research I'm doing. I think that'd be a fun little aspect of this channel if we could do it. All right. If you haven't already, we do have a basic candle magic video. Go check that out. If you've never tried candle magic, it's a lot of fun. We also have a video on jar magic and jar spells. And of course, we mentioned it once before, but definitely join us Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the live streams at Magical Coffee Hour. As you can tell, we get in there, we discuss occult stuff, we have fun. Sometimes I make fun of me. Sometimes it's my shirt or my clothing. But, you know, we have fun. It's all good. Good fun, good community. Also, if you've enjoyed this video and you've received any benefit from it, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications so that you're notified anytime I release a new video and share some new information with you and the community. And until next time, I'm Drake. This has been Working Dragon Mystic. Take care. Bye-bye.